Right. If you're just now joining us here, streaming live on CBS News 24/7, country music legend Dolly Parton has died at the age of 80 after some recent health troubles and after one hell of a great life. Let's cue up the first of some pretty high-profile tributes. President Donald Trump just posted this on Truth Social, in part saying this is a true loss for millions of people. There has never been anyone like her and never will. In her honor, the president said, "I am lowering the American flag throughout the United States for a one-week period beginning tonight at 6 p.m. Rest in peace, Dolly. The world loves you." Knoxville Mayor Glenn Jacobs posted this about Parton on X, quote, "Dolly Parton was an amazing entertainer, entrepreneur, businesswoman, and philanthropist. Her impact on East Tennessee is immeasurable, as are her contributions to our state and nation. Dolly was one of a kind and will be missed." And let's keep going home for these tributes. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn posted this on X. "There are no words to adequately express the sorrow our family and indeed all Tennesseans feel in the loss of Dolly Parton, an iconic leader who loved our great state and nation. Her passing leaves a void that no one can ever fill. Dolly, we will always love you." We could go on and on and on, and we will as we have this conversation, but it's striking to me to remember that not long ago there was the conversation about the statue there in one of the great buildings there in the state of Tennessee. And at first, Dolly Parton said, "Oh, I don't know how I feel about that."
Yeah. She, as much as she shared her own life, and as she wanted to do, for example, with the Broadway show,
right.
I don't think she wanted to be put on a pedestal that way. And she wanted to share her life and what she'd been through and how she'd gotten through it. Mm-hmm. But, for someone who was, as much of a celebrity as there is, she tried to keep it real the whole way. And
well, can I say, you look at the theme park, people mocked her theme park widely. And you kind of forget that because everybody sort of wants to go to Dollywood now. And there's a whole culture around it. Yeah. But it was widely mocked. And when you look back at the legacy of that place, it was a gift back to her fans. It was not about self-aggrandizement.
Yep. Well, and it told the story of the place where she grew up. I mean, anybody who's been to Dollywood knows what it's like to go on a log flume, to go and see what a coal mining experience is, to go into one of those little one-room church houses that then also schooled so many kids like she was there in the Great Smoky Mountains. And then, we know that she maintained a family compound there in the Great Smoky Mountains. Not a lot of people know where it is, but it is there, and it is the place. Small house, humble house. I mean, just look at her interview recently with Reese Witherspoon when Reese went to one of the homes where Dolly lived. Still very small, still very humble, and very in keeping with her. But, Anthony and Jamie, going back to President Trump's statement, I'm struck by the memory not many years ago when Dolly Parton was on stage with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. It's my memory that she was right in the middle of those two very vocal political lightning rods. Yeah. And when they decided to go and have what they had to say about Donald Trump, Dolly Parton quickly and with humor pivoted in a way in that moment that really carved out a new path and a new conversation. She reserved the right to feel how she feels, but didn't want to go down the path of division. And she used that moment, I think, as a way to say, there is a way to have our activism and our advocacy in a way that still unites us and doesn't divide us.
I think she was incredibly effective at that.
Artful.
That's one of the great legacies of her was that she had a way of telling you what she thought by what she did, not by what she said.
Right.
And the book program is a great example. I mean, an incredibly effective and meaningful program to kids all over the country. It was a way of saying we need to do more to educate people. But she didn't, it's not something she made a political issue. It's something she made a point of achieving, which was getting books in the hands of children who didn't get the opportunity to read. And reading is such a critical part of any young child's development. It's literally make or break. And she understood that. I think it was because, you may know this better than me, Reed, I think it was because her father couldn't read.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was trying to, and she knew what he went through. And so she was trying to sort of make amends for that.
Yeah, and she wanted to, again, as we see one of the themes of her life, carve a path forward, especially with her dad. And that was, by the way, one of her dad's biggest, most beaming pride and joy in his final days that this was happening.
Yeah.
So let's go home to Nashville. Nicole Valdes, CBS News, Nicole Valdes. Nicole, I cannot imagine what it is like there in Nashville today. I'm thinking about the great Ryman Auditorium. Paint a picture for what so many of our friends are feeling today in the great Nashville, Tennessee.
Of course, look, you've got to know that this is a city that praises Dolly Parton, worships her, and the loss that they're feeling here. I mean, it is so deep. This woman has become an icon here, someone that everyone knows and loves. You don't dare say anything negative about Dolly Parton. She is that important to this state, to this city. I'm actually just outside the Country Music Hall of Fame, where they have a new exhibit sort of documenting her life, her journey from childhood up until the star that she became. And I'm waiting to see just how many people will get outside the Country Music Hall of Fame. There are several massive murals honoring this legendary woman all throughout the city that I only expect people to be crowding today, honoring her, potentially bringing anything that they can to just pay their respects because of not just the incredible songwriter, the singer that she was, but the impact that she had on this state, the amount of giving that she did here, it was really what stood out to people. I mean, her work as a philanthropist, as a businesswoman, was really something that people really stuck with long outside, her impact in music and in country music. And even to this day, I mean, she was still making waves. She just recently had a new ride open at Dollywood that she was hoping to be there for the unveiling of. Unfortunately, we know that she wasn't able to be there because of the health issues that she was facing. She has a hotel here in downtown Nashville that was set to open not too long from now that she was also hoping to be there for the ribbon cutting. And we weren't really sure what that was going to look like, knowing that her health was sort of declining here. So these are the things that people are going to remember. Obviously, her work as a Hall of Famer is something that will be remembered forever. I do believe that we are going to hear from the CEO of the Country Music Hall of Fame here with some words about just her impact on our world, on our state here. One quote that I see from him here is Dolly Parton's legacy is not celebrity, but humanity. She was a champion of equality and literacy. She was a picture of dignity, even when dressed outrageously. We all know that she was also known for her very intricate fashion. Anyone who seeks to be more like Dolly is on the right track, but they'll never get to the finish line. She came from poverty to become the most important native of Tennessee. She shared her fortunes for the good of all of us and shared her soul in every note she sang. That is from Kyle Young, the CEO of the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum here in Nashville. Just some of the more powerful words and quotes that a lot of people are going to be looking to remember this legendary woman.
All of the quotes coming from very personal perspectives because every word she gave us and every project she engaged in came from a personal place. I think that's the true mark of a true genius.
I was just remembering a story she told me. It was a story she told a lot over the years. But when after she wrote "I Will Always Love You," which she wrote, I think, as she recalled, it might have even been the same day she wrote Jolene.
Yeah.
They were right close together. She couldn't remember exactly, but she said they were like next to each other in the same notebook.
Yep.
And but Elvis Presley wanted to record "I Will Always Love You." And
Colonel Parker
got
a lesson.
Colonel Parker reached out, and as was standard procedure, as he told her back in the day, in 74, I think it was, 73, 74, he said, it's traditional to give Elvis 50% of the rights to the song. And Dolly, no fool, said, no way, and kept the song, of course, and the rest is history. But she was a savvy businesswoman from the beginning, as well as being an extraordinary songwriter.
Well, and to that point, another one of her iconic songs, of course, the I Will Always Love You song that Whitney Houston, the great Whitney Houston, added her voice to. And I remember Dolly Parton asked in many interviews, well, how do you feel about the success now that this is launched? And she said, I'm laughing all the way to the bank. But also then tied it to that personal experience where she was driving, I believe, to her home in Brentwood in Nashville, the Nashville area, and said that she heard the song. She had not heard it as Whitney Houston did it until it was on the radio. And she said, I had to pull over and take it in. And, you know, it was that moment that Dolly Parton saw the full bloom of that song that's now been recorded over and over and over, but also made her even more wealthy so she could do even more good in the world.
Yeah, it's that's an extraordinary thing about Dolly, was she, you know, right till the end. I mean, this is the thing that's also is particularly sad about this, is she had a lot of other things in the works. You know, she had a Broadway show that's coming that they've been working on for a while. You know, she's wasn't done telling her story or living. And, you know, I think she obviously started, because she started to have health issues, so she saw this coming, I would expect. But she was still working right up to the very end.
It's the signature quality of who Dolly Parton was. Anthony and Jamie, thank you for being here with me.